Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I've got a short video which just shows a couple of turns of gameplay for the Walking Dead All Out War from Mantic Games. In these couple of turns it'll show you all of the basic actions that you can take during the game, of movement, of searching, of range shooting, of hand-to-hand combat in melee, and just how the walkers work as well. So I hope you enjoy the video. Let me know in the comments if you spot any mistakes. I'm sure there will be a few in there somewhere. But other than that, enjoy the video, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and tell me if you enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching.
Turn 1, Rick's Initiative, Action Phase. So here we start with Rick's team, and first of all we're going to have Carl activate, and he's going to sneak up just behind that police truck. And you do get to do 2 actions, however you can't use the same action twice, and there's nothing else I want to do with Carl here. So player moves across to Derrick's team. And here we see Patrick. He's going to sneak up behind those tyres there in the barricade, and because he doesn't have a ranged weapon and he can't move again, his turn is over. So player moves to Rick, and Rick is going to sneak forward. He's going to move forward a couple of inches there just in front of the building, and then he's going to take a turn and he's going to sneak just behind that barricade. And again, in this instance, Rick doesn't have a ranged weapon and he can't search, so that's the end of his activation. So now we move to Derrick. He decides he's going to run to that truck with the intention of searching it. So Derrick runs towards that truck. However, the run action creates noise, and this means that the closest walker within 10 inches is drawn towards the noise. In this case, that one on the center counter moves across. His movement is blocked by the truck, so he stops. Event phase. Okay, now what we're doing is we're just checking the kill zones of the walkers, and any of survivors that are in the kill zone of the walker, it means that the walker can move straight into an attack for melee combat. So in this case, the only one is after that run action of Derrick. We also draw an event card, and in this case it's the hunger. Because our threat level is all quiet, nothing actually happens. However, it does increase the threat by 1, so the threat level goes up from 1 to 2. Melee phase. At the start of melee phase, we increase the threat level by 1 if there's any melee combat to be had, and of course we've got Derrick here. So Derrick rolls 2, the walker rolls 1, which means Derrick beats the walker by 1, which means he pushes him back and knocks him over. However, the walker may come back because there was no headshot. End phase. Here in the end phase, we roll to see if any of the prone walkers stand up. However, in this case the walker failed his roll, and so we also check for rolls for bitten models. However, there isn't any in this. Turn 2, Derrick's Initiative, Action Phase. So here we start with Derrick searching the back of the truck, and he finds a lurker. This means that he suffers a melee attack with a double red dice. He can only defend it. He's also subject to the bitten rule, and the threat level will increase by 1. So in this combat, the walker rolls 3 and the survivor only rolls 1, which means that Derrick takes 2 points of damage. So here we see he's reduced from 5 to 3 and also bitten. The threat level increases to 4. For his second action, we see Derrick decide to use the sneak move action to just behind that barrier to protect himself from any other walkers. So moving across to Rick's team, and Rick decides to use his first action to reduce the threat level. He has a special leader ability, which means he can roll the blue dice and reduce it by that amount. In this case he rolls a 1 and the threat level is reduced from 4 to 3. For Rick's second action, he decides to use a sneak move, and he sneaks up behind the walker ready to attack. Back across to Derrick's team, and Patrick decides to make a move action to just to the side of the truck, ready to try and search in the future. The player moves back to Carl, and Carl uses a sneak action just to move up behind that broken door, and he then decides to shoot the walker. Carl rolls 2 and the walker rolls 1, which means the walker is hit and knocked over. However, the gun action causes mayhem, which means every walker within 10 inches moves towards Carl. It also increases the threat level by 1 to 4. So measuring all of the walkers, there's 2 eligible walkers that can move. So one moves towards Carl and is stopped by the broken door terrain. and the second one moves towards Cole and it gets caught on the edge of the barricade on the way towards him. Event phase. So here in the event phase we're checking again and for the kill zones. One walker moves up to Carl and another walker just has enough movement just to move around the car but not quite into contact with Patrick. We draw the event card. This one's a roamer, and again it's all quiet, so each player can move one eligible walker in a direction of their choice. So of course the Derrick player decides to move a walker in towards Rick to outnumber him, and Rick player decides to move the walker into base contact for Patrick. Melee phase. Here the threat increases to 5 and into the first set of melee, which is Rick. So Rick has to fight 2 walkers. So Rick gets his normal dice, the walker gets an extra 2 dice for the second. So the walker scores 2, however Rick scores 4 plus a headshot. This means Rick wins by 2 and he can share out the damage. So one walker is pushed back and knocked over with 1 point of damage, and the second walker takes the 1 point plus the headshot. Next we move on to the combat with Patrick. Patrick rolls 3 plus a headshot, the walker rolls 2. That means that Patrick beats him by 1 plus the headshot means the walker is taken out. And last we have the combat with Carl. Here Carl rolls 2, the walker rolls 1, so Carl manages to beat him by 1 and push him back. End phase. Here we check for the bitten rule, and again Derrick fails this and loses 1 more point of damage, and we roll to see if any of the walkers stand up. In this instance the walker beside Derrick and the walker next to Rick stand up. And that's the end of turn 2.